Welcome back, everybody, to day 3 of learning SQL. We're going to answer questions 7 through 14 on the Udemy SQL course assessment test 2. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. The first question says, how can you produce a list of members who joined after the start date of September 2012? Return the member ID, surname, first name, and join date of the members in question. Okay, so after September 2012. So let's first select everything from our members table. We have bookings, facilities, and members. So let's go ahead and select everything from our cd.members table. Pull that up. And then if you look here, we have the member ID, we have first name, we have surname, and we have our join date. So that's everything we need. So let's go ahead and select the columns first, which was member ID was first, and then it had surname, then it had first name, and then we had join dates, all one word. Okay, let's go ahead and put this down. Here are the 4 columns that we need, and then we just need to filter out guests that joined after September 2012. So we're going to say where join date is greater than or equal to 2012-09-101. Go ahead and run this. And it looks like we have 10 rows. And you can see that the dates here start at the September 1st and go all the way to the 26th. So that looks to be correct. We have 10 rows. Let's go ahead and check the answer. Expected result is 10 rows. So perfect. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 8. How can you produce an ordered list of the first 10 surnames in the members table? The list must not contain duplicates. Okay, so first 10 surnames in the members table. Now I'm looking at the result of the way it wants it to be formatted, and it looks like the first 10 results are sorted alphabetically. So this is a bit of like an ambiguous question, right? Could be also like the first 10 surnames that were into the database by like, the time that they joined. But it's looking like it's just based off of being alphabetical. And also it's saying must not contain duplicates. So we know we're going to be using distinct here. So let's go ahead and select the surnames from, I'm just going to do another line, cd.members. Go ahead and pull that up. And let's go ahead and say select distinct because we don't want any duplicates. And then we're going to go ahead and order by the surname ascending. And that's going to get these all in alphabetical order for us, as you can see here. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we will just limit by 10. And there we go. There is the 10 surnames there. And they match up here as well. So perfect. Let's go ahead and move on to number 9. You'd like to get the sign up date of your last member. How can you retrieve this information? Okay, so and the expected result was September 26th, 18/08/45. So to get the last sign up date, let's go ahead and just select the, let's just select everything from the member cd.members. Take a look at what we have. We have join date, so we can just narrow it down to that. Run that. And then what I'm going to do, there's actually like a couple ways to do this. You could say max, actually. Max join date and run that. It's going to give us 09/26, 18/08/45, which is the answer they're looking for. However, without using max, we could also just say order by join date descending. So it's going to put the latest first and then just limit it to 1 because that's what we're looking for. And that gives us the same answer as well. So either one would work for that. Okay, let's go ahead and go to number 10. Produce a count of the number of facilities that have a cost to guests of 10 or more. Produce a count of a number of facilities that have a cost to guests of 10 or more. Okay, so let's go ahead and select everything from our cd.facilities table. And if we take a look here, we have the guest cost is what we're going to be looking at. So we're going to be counting, and we can just count anything, but we're going to just say guest cost just in case someone was to look at this query later. It kind of give them a little bit of idea of what we're actually trying to count, but we're just counting the rows, so it could be star as well. And then we're going to say where guest cost is greater than 0. Go ahead and run this. It looks like we have 9 different facilities that have a guest cost greater than 0. And the question was, produce a count of the number of facilities that have a cost of guest of 10 or more. My bad. Let's go back. 10 or more. Let's go ahead and run this. We have 6. So let's go back here, and the expected result is 6. So sorry about that. Glossed over that little detail there. All right, number 11. Produce a list of the total number of slots booked per facility in the month of September 2012. Produce an output table consisting of facility ID and slots, sorted by the number of slots. Okay, so a lot going on here. So first thing is we're going to be producing a list of total number of slots booked per facility in the month of September 2012. So let's start with that. So let's go ahead and select everything from cd.facilities. Run this. And I want to go ahead and take a look here. We have the facility ID, the name, and so we want to check on the total number of slots booked. So we have, actually this is just going to be the facilities. So we actually need to go to the bookings table. Let's check this. Here we go. Okay, so now we have the facility ID and we have the amount of slots booked. So because we want the slots booked per facility, we're going to be using a group by. So let's go ahead and start first by selecting the facility ID. And then we're going to be summing up the slots column per facility ID. So we're going to use a group by for facility ID because that is the column that's not in our aggregate function. Go ahead and run that. So here are all the facility IDs with the total number of slots that have been booked. So we'll go ahead and go back. And in the month of September 2012. So group by facility ID, we're going to say where the, and I need to check back. So let's go back to really quick, select star from cd.bookings. Just need to really quick look at what we have here. So it's called start time. Okay, so we're just going to undo that. And we're going to say where, oops, go up here. We're going to say where start time, let's go back to the problem, the month of September 2012. So we'll say start time is greater than or equal to 2012-09-01, and start time is less than 2012-10-01. So this should give us everything in the month of September. Group by facility ID. So let's go ahead and try this again. So now that our sums have been edited to reflect the date range, and produce an output table consisting of facility ID and slots sorted by the number of slots. So when we go ahead and do our sort function, so we're going to say order by, and then we're going to go ahead and say we're going to be ordering by the total slots. So we need to say sum slots, and then does it want ascending or descending? Looks like we're just going to want ascending. So let's go ahead and run that. So we have from 122 all the way up to 648 for a total of 9 rows. And we expect the result is 9 rows. And let's just double check. 122, 422, 426. It looks like everything's correct. 588, 591, 648. Perfect. Okay, so that is number 11. Let's go to number 12. Produce a list of facilities with more than 1,000 slots booked. Produce an output table consisting of the facility ID and the total slots sorted by facility ID. Okay, so this is basically just summing up all the slots booked for all the facilities, and then we need to just order by the facility ID. So let's give that a shot. So let's go ahead and get everything here. We'll just go ahead and start over. So we're going to select the facility ID, and then we're going to select the sum of the slots from the cd.bookings table. And let's go ahead and run this. Facility ID. Let's go back. So let's go ahead and just select everything. Take a look. Facility ID. So here we are. Of course, we didn't do our group by. Okay, so facility ID, sum, getting way ahead of ourselves here, of the slots from booking cd.facilities. We're going to do our group by facility ID. There we go. So now we have the facility ID with the total number of bookings for each of them. And it's asking facilities with more than 1,000 slots booked. And then output table of the facility total costs, total slots sorted by facility ID. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say group by. And here, keep in mind that we're sorting the sum of the slots. And so we have to use having, right? We can't use where statement because that would be before we do our group by. So we're going to say having sum of slots greater than 1,000. So we'll go ahead and run that. We have 5 results, and actually greater than or equal to most likely. Let's take a look at the problem because that's important. Facilities with more than 1,000 slots booked. So it looks like it is just greater than. So we always want to pay attention to those little details. And then we're going to order by facility ID ascending. Go run it again. So there we go. We have 0 through 6, and we have 5 total rows. Let's go ahead and go back to the question. And it looks like that is correct. Okay, next question, number 13. How can you produce a list of start times for bookings for tennis courts? The date of 2012, September 21st. Return a list of start time and facility name pairings ordered by time. Okay, so let's break this down piece by piece. The first thing that I'm noticing is that our start times are not in our start times and the name of the courts that we're referencing here are not in the same table. So I know the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to actually need to interjoin the two tables because the table names are going to be in facilities and the start times are going to be in bookings. So let's go ahead and start there. That'll be a good place to start. So let's go ahead and select all from the bookings table, cd.bookings. And let me just move this down because this is going to get a little bit long. And then we're going to go ahead and interjoin the cd.facilities table on, and both of these are going to have the facility ID because you remember we're referencing the facility ID. So we'll say cd.bookings.facility ID. It's going to be equal to cd, let's fix this little typo here, cd.facilities.facility ID. Let's go ahead and run that. So as you can see here, now we have the bookings table on the left, and we're doing an interjoin, so we're only capturing what they each have in common. So all of our bookings, we just want to make sure that we're adding the name of the booking facility onto that. So you can see that we have the slots, then we have both of the facility IDs here, and then we have the name of the different bookings of the facility that they booked. So let's go ahead and narrow this down now to where we're only looking at the facility start times and the names. So I'm going to go ahead and do start time, and I'm going to go ahead and put cd.bookings.start time, and then we're also going to grab cd. Let's see, go back here. We're going to grab the name, which is going to be under cd.facilities. Dot name. So let's go ahead and try this. So now we have all the start times and all the names. Let's go back to the question or the date 2012-09-21. So let's go ahead and say, put our where here. And we're going to say the cd.bookings.start time. is greater than or equal to, let me go back, 0921. So 2012-09-21. And then we're going to say and, same exact thing. I'm just going to copy and paste this. But we're going to change the date here and the operators to be less than 2012-10, -09-22. So this should give us everything that is September 21st. So let's go ahead and check the problem once again. For the date 2012-09-21. So we have that. So let's go ahead and run this and make sure that everything's working the way we think it should be. And we have an error here. So let's take a look at what it is on cd.bookings. Column booking service does not exist. cd.bookings/start time. Start time. CD bookings start time. Ah, forgot a T. Okay. Little details. Same thing here as well. I'm not a huge fan of the names without the underscore, but it is what it is. Okay, so here we go. Now we are looking at everything that is on September 21st, and we have all the names of the different facilities that are being booked on that day. Let's go ahead and go back and produce the name of the bookings for tennis courts. So it has to be tennis courts only. And so if we recall, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a separate query here. I want to take a look at everything from the facilities table. The reason I want to do this is I want to see the facility IDs for the tennis courts, which are 0 and 1. So we can use this to filter out in this current table everything in only the tennis courts. So we have our where condition for the date, and we can also say where the facility IDs, so cd.facility.facil_id is going to be equal or is going to be in, and then we can do a list here of 0 and 1. So let's go ahead and run that. And you can see now that in our results, we've narrowed down to just the tennis court 1 and tennis court 2. So this is quite a bit. Let's go back to the problem just to make sure that we have everything that they're looking for. Produce a list of start times for bookings for tennis courts. So we filtered by the tennis courts for the date of 2012-09-21, which we did. We have that date range. Returned a list of start time and facility name pairings, which we did via the inner join. Ordered by time. Okay, that's a detail that we didn't do. So at the very end here, we're going to say order by and then start time. And we're assuming it's going to be ascending. It didn't say. But let's take a look. Go back to the problem, and it looks like they're starting on the 21st at 8. And that's where we're starting here. So my result is 12 rows. Let's go back and check, and expected result is 12 rows. Okay, so that was quite fun. There's a lot going on there, but we were able to get it done. Readability wise, I feel like it's pretty decent as well. You should be able to understand what's going on here. So let's go ahead and go to the last question. How can you produce a list of start times for bookings by members named David Farrell? Okay, so first off, we're talking about bookings and we're talking about members. So those two words there are going to let us know that we're most likely going to be interjoining some tables. So once again, it looks like we're going to be pulling up everything from the bookings table. So let's start with that. cd.bookings, of course. Still getting used to using this database. And you can see there we have a member ID, but we don't have any name for any of these bookings. So let's go ahead and just double check the members table just to make sure we have a member ID, which we sure do. And we also have the first name and surname. So let's go ahead and join these up. So we're going to start with the cd.bookings table. And then we're going to go ahead and interjoin. I'm going to move this down just for readability. we're going to interjoin in the cd.members table. And we're going to join that on cd.bookings.memid. It's going to be equal to our cd.members.memid. Go ahead and run this. As you can see here, now we have the member IDs matched up here with the surname and the first name of the people in question that did the booking. So let's go ahead and go back, and it says produce a list of start times for bookings by members named David Farrell. So, and what exactly do they want here? Let's see. For bookings. So it's just start times. So select, I'm going to start by saying select start time. And that's going to be from cd.bookings.start time. I also want to see the surname as well and the first name. So I'm going to say cd.members.surname. Actually, I'm going to do first name first. And then we're going to do cd.members.surname. Okay, then we'll go ahead and run this. So now we have all the start times here with the first and last name of the guest booking the start time. Now we need to just filter out via the name. So to do that, let's go ahead and say where first name equals, and because we have an actual name here, we could just go ahead and set it with an and just give the exact name, and then surname equals, and I think it was Farrell, let's see, Farell. Let's go ahead and run this. And it looks like we have a total of 34 rows for David Farrell. So let's go back to here. Expected result is 34 rows of the timestamps. So perfect. All right, guys, so those are all the questions from assessment test 2, numbers 7 through 14. Some of those are really fun, a little bit tricky. Not really, I wouldn't say tricky. There's kind of a lot going on there. Got to break it down piece by piece. Admittedly, it's a little bit difficult to do this on camera because I don't want to like waste your guys' time. I'm trying to do it quite quickly, but it kind of focuses and like rushes me along a little bit. So usually when I'm doing this by myself, I'm a bit more focused and it's a bit easier, but I really want to get these on camera for you guys. So yeah, we got to do what we got to do. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.